Right. And we're on.
All right.
And we're there.
I wonder what was going on then.
We're on.
That's it.
Uh,
Right, we're back.
Right.
Good.
I'm looking forward to tonight's podcast, I'm not going to lie.
Week number 2.
Well, you're the one with the stories.
Hang on, let me turn the volume up. There we go. It's paranormal week.
Go for it.
So
Oh, but
it
Go on.
scares the life out of me. Like, I can't watch spooky films. I can't watch ghosty films. I can't watch anything like that. But I totally believe.
Yeah.
In what?
Paranormal.
Yeah, the paranormal, the afterlife, like spirits, people around us.
Yeah, but the paranormal goes to loads of things, though, doesn't it? Because there's like, it's not just ghosts, it's like demons and all that sort of malarkey and all that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that side of it, to be honest. I like the nice airy fairy side of it all.
Yeah, but you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, I know. But, just leave me in my little bubble.
Personally, I've never experienced anything.
Nothing in that bedroom.
Nothing at all. Just don't say that now because I'm in it and I won't want to sleep.
So if we did something like go, oh, Bill!
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like I can see something behind you, but I can't see it.
It's behind you.
It's behind you.
So I mean, but I have never experienced anything. I mean, I must admit, I am petrified of being like, I don't know, if I hear a bump in the night.
I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. I hate. It scares the life out of me. But I've had some really nice experiences as well.
Go on then. First one.
So, when I lived in the old house, so laying in bed one night, and all of a sudden I could see a lady standing by the side of my bed. It wasn't like a clear, like you couldn't. It wasn't like if I saw you standing there. It was like smoke. It was weird, but
Yeah.
I could see it was a woman. And so the first night she was just standing there, and I woke up Rory, and I was going. I saw her, but then I looked away because I was too scared to look again. And I was nudging him, and I was going, Raw, there's someone standing by the side of the bed. Yeah. And he was like, there's no one there. And I'm like, I'm telling you now, there is a lady standing by the side of the bed. Anyway, next night, 3 nights in a row it happened. Next night, she had her hands on her knees and she was kneeling down looking at Rory. So it was all definitely about Rory.
Yeah.
And she was looking at him like while he was just laying there. She was like looking at him, and I was going, and I woke him up again. I was going, she's back. She's, And then the third time, Rory woke up to me sitting up, holding my arm out.
Right.
She was holding her hand out to me as if to say, like, take my hand. And I was sitting up, and he was going to me, what are you doing? I was going, she's holding her hand out to me.
Yeah.
And I was holding my hand out to her.
She might be trying to drag you to hell.
I doubt it. But it was like, and then I kept seeing handprints in mirrors. Right. Like a lot. I would see handprints in mirrors a lot. And Jane, Jimmy's daughter Jane.
Yeah.
She's into all that, and she does like readings and stuff. And I said to her, I messaged her and I said, like, can you come round and just sort of see if you can feel anything in the house? And she came round and she said, your house, bearing in mind we lived in that really, really old cottage. It was like 230 years old or something crazy like that. Yeah. And she said, your house is like a shortcut. She went, there literally just, she went, there's nothing sinister. They literally just like to and fro through your living room. She went, it is constant. She went, it's so busy. It was like the highway to heaven.
Yeah, exactly. It was a crossing point.
Yeah. So yeah, like the handprints and all that, and it was at the time when we were trying to have Mickey, but I fell ill with my thyroid and stuff. So, and apparently the handprints going around was some kind of sign of wanting or something or other.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice.
And I think it might have been Granddad's birthday. I woke up and felt someone blowing on my face.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was talking to Mum about it, and she was saying that Granddad always used to do that to her when she was little.
Oh.
I could literally, it was like someone blowing on my cheek.
Did she cry?
Obviously. Obviously. And so mine, obviously Nan died and Rory's Nan died on the same day.
Yeah.
And not long after they died, I was standing in Alfie's doorway and I was sort of saying, "Are you all right? If you need to chat, like, you know, we can talk about it and all that sort of stuff." And then he went to me, Mum, can you move to one side? And I was like, "What for?" And he went, "You're standing right in front of Nan."
Oh.
And my first reply was, "What one?"
Because if I said,
I was like, "What Nan is it? Please let it be Nan."
I always wanted it to happen, but then it just never did.
No.
But Bill, I can remember being in that room and feeling like the duvet tightening around my feet, like someone had sat on the end of the bed.
Do you remember that night when years ago when I think Mum and Dad had gone out Christmas shopping or something, and something happened in the house? A load of towels come down the stairs, didn't they?
They fell off there. They flew down the stairs.
Sat on the bloody doorstep, going, I'm not going inside. But they didn't just, you know, where Mum's got where the banister is at the top of the stairs, right? So if you had a load of towels over the banister and they slipped off, you'd expect them just to hit the stairs underneath, wouldn't you? You know, but these towels come down like somebody had wrapped them all up in a ball and had literally like hoofed them down the stairs. And we looked at each other going, I saw that. We were fighting to get on the doorstep.
See, I think that I don't know. I think you've got to be. I don't know why some people see it and some people don't. Or whether some people don't want to see it and people do want to see it are more susceptible to it.
Yeah. See, because I remember having that conversation with Jane, and she kept saying to me, "I think you are susceptible to it. Have you ever thought about joining a circle?" And I was like, "No."
Sitting there with your crystals and all that.
She was part of a spiritual, like a mediumship circle. And she said, "Come along." And I never forget it. I remember going sick. I chucked a sickie at the airport because it was on a Thursday night. And I went along to this circle, and there were like loads of people there. People that had been going for weeks that had obviously, like, you know, they were building on their power, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, skills, whatever. And the woman said, "Right, we're going to give you an envelope with a photo in it. You just, you know, touch the photo, put it to your face." I felt so embarrassed. I felt really silly doing it. Oh, you know, can you imagine me? Can't you holding this photo? And I was like looking around, thinking, "Oh, look, I might twat." But then images were popping into my head.
Yeah.
And so then she went round the room and she was like, "Right, what did you feel about the photo?" And I was like, "Well," I said, "it was quite regimented, like they had to be there, very smart, like maybe standing in front of a building or something." And she and I said, like, you know, it had to be there, very smart. Something else I said. Opened it up and it was her kids' school pictures.
All right.
And I was like, she was like, "Yeah, you know, like, you know." And then another one was, you had to picture yourself going up in a lift and the lift opening up, and the animal that was standing in front of you is your spirit animal. I couldn't do that. I was like, "No, I'm getting nothing."
That's a bridge too far for me. That one.
I'm getting nothing out of that.
I get a hippo.
Yeah.
Don't you think some of it's suggestive though? Like someone to tell you what, like there's someone sort of telling you what you need to see.
Well,
so they like implant like a thought in your head, and it's like they suggest it to you, and subliminally it just appears.
Yeah, but you see, so then something else happened in this circle. We had to sit opposite somebody, and you had to give them a reading, and I was really struggling because I was obviously never done it before, all that. And then all of a sudden, I heard the word Betty in my ear, like someone had whispered the word Betty in my ear. And I said it out loud, and I was like, Betty. And the woman in front of me was like, yeah. And then I sort of described this woman, what she looked like, what she enjoyed doing. It was just all stuff that just, it's like it just comes out of nowhere.
Do you know something? You've missed a trick here, because you could be doing people's nails, right?
And
giving them a reading.
At the same time.
I know.
I mean, I'm serious, you know.
So they could come in for a set of acrylics and leave their shit in themselves.
Well, yeah.
Why didn't you carry on?
I don't know. I've got to be honest with you. It's not something that I really. I don't want to do it.
Oh, I sort of mess around with things like that. It's like you say to Dad, mention like a Ouija board or something to Dad. He goes, "Oh no, don't talk about that."
Oh, absolutely not. No way.
Mm-hmm.
None of that business. Opening up like portals to hell and
That's
demons.
a whole. Yeah. There's just no. There's no way. There's no way.
See, I just don't believe that. Like I see these things, and it always seems to happen in places like America.
Mm.
But it's like blood comes out the walls and
all that.
Like,
do you not like? I can remember when I've done Ouija boards quite a few times when I was a lot younger, and I can remember that we went to France with the school, and we were doing these Ouija boards, messing about and what have you. Do you remember years and years and years ago over the ski slopes, there was a girl called Claudia who died, a motorbike hitter. Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're doing this Ouija board, and I'm doing it with these girls, and nobody was pushing this thing around, like, because our fingers were so light on it, and we kept asking each other, and it started to spell out Claudia, right? Claudia. So we all were like really freaked out, and then it started to sort of spell out my name, and it was like danger, and then spelled out my brother's name from Dad's side of the family, yeah. And I was in a panic, right? I sort of ran down to the phone box, right? And I said to Pete, I said, what are you going out or anything like that? And he said, yeah, we are going out. So I said, well, just be careful like that. I haven't got a good feeling. And the next morning, he said that there'd been a stabbing in the club where he'd gone that night, and they'd been, quite close to it, sort of thing. So I don't know, who knows? I don't know. It's just freaky. It was
I think a lot of it is coincidence.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think you're right. And who knows? I mean, I wouldn't do one again, ever.
No,
it was quite freaky, and it was weird when this thing was moving around. It was almost like hovering, rather than sort of being pushed feeling. It was weird, but who knows? I'm not here to say, oh, it was definitely happening, or no, it wasn't. I don't. The jury's out for me. It was just really, really freaky.
But paranormal covers loads of stuff, doesn't it? It's not just ghosts and things like that. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, I'll get hooked on documentaries. I put it in on YouTube, and that's it. Before you know, 9 hours has gone by.
Yeah.
And you're watching videos about walking dogs, and all comes under things like the paranormal and stuff like that.
I don't like watching it. I believe in it. And I like to think that it's true, and I've had nice experiences. But I can't watch any spooky films. I just can't do it. I wouldn't sleep for a week.
I don't like horror films, but there's no tangible evidence, is there? There's no like someone took a photo and they're like, oh, look, there's a ghost.
I could tell you about my experiences with the orbs, which was quite.
See, that's the sort of stuff that I like. I mean, I sometimes you look up and you think, is it? You're not sure.
I had two experiences with orbs, and one was just before I went to Poland for some treatment phase, and I woke up and there was this amazing white orb in front of me, and it was there, like pure white energy. It was there. But the one that really got me was just after my dad died, and so it wasn't long, and I was laying in bed, and I kind of came to, but I wasn't fully awake, but I could just feel this pressure on my whole body, and And just, I don't know, I was like, I just didn't want to open my eyes, but this voice was, it wasn't my dad's voice, but it was just like in my head, you know, like, just open your eyes. It's fine. Just open your eyes, open your eyes. And I opened my eyes and I sort of glanced over to the top right, to my right hand side up into the corner. And there was this electric blue swirling ball of light, swirling. And I just, all of a sudden, I knew it was my dad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just had this feeling in my body. That's this dad. His dad had come. It was almost like he'd just come to say, "I'm fine." You know, don't worry about it. And with that thought sort of thing, it just went. It was started to dart all around the room and then disappeared. And that was that. And with that, once it went, that feeling, that tingly feeling, you know, that hairs stood up on the back of your neck and whatever, that all went away, and everything's just sort of returned to normal. But I will take that to the grave with me. That was my dad, you know.
But how did that make you feel?
I was shitting myself initially, especially when I wasn't awake. But I could feel this pressure down on my body, and my skin was tingling, and I was like, I just, do you know, like I thought I'm going to open my eyes, and there is going to be something evil. So that's kind of what I was scared of. But this voice was saying to me, because I'd never had that experience before, and I was scared, really scared. But this voice was saying to me, "It's fine. Everything's fine. Just please, just open your eyes." And so I sort of did tentatively, but I did, and sort of glanced up, and there was this swirl of light, and I just felt so close to him after that. No, just so close.
You was definitely awake. It was like definitely conscious. You weren't like dreaming.
Definitely awake. Definitely awake at that point. Definitely, without a doubt. And then once, it was over, I sort of laid there and I took a deep breath because this pressure had gone, and I was like, took this deep breath, and I was just this big smile on my face, and I'm crying, because I knew. I just knew it was him.
See,
people
I
come
tend
back
to go more towards it.
Sorry, I was just going to say, people come back to see you, and they don't necessarily have to come back in this physical form, sort of sat next to you. I took the other experience I had. It was my dad again. Do you remember we went to see that medium that lady nearby you?
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest with you, my jury was out. The jury was out for me as it was happening. But she came up with a few things. I thought, actually, even if you looked at my Facebook page, you probably wouldn't know that, But she said to me as I was leaving, "You're going to get a visit from your dad. He's going to come to you in a dream." She said, and I'm not saying it's going to be tonight, but it's going to be really soon, really, really soon. Now you can argue that she's planted that in your mind, so you're thinking about it. But a few days went by, so if I'd kind of like put it together. But I woke up one night. I was having this dream. And it was real. I was stood in my dad's house at the top of the stairs. I could walk at the time. I stood at the top of the stairs, and I could hear this sort of clanking around in the kitchen, and I was like, "I'm here. I'm back at home." Do you know what I mean? I went running down the stairs into the kitchen, and my dad stood up by the patio doors where he would usually stand with his cup of tea, and I'm like, "Dad," and I threw my arms around him, gave him this really big hug, and he was hugging me, but he kind of pushed me back a little bit, and he said, "You got to stop worrying. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, And with that, I woke up, but in tears, because I just knew. I thought this wasn't a bloody dream.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He was here.
Yeah.
He was here talking to me, and I know it. I know it. So I have no doubt. I have no doubts. That
I've had something similar like that with Nan. Yeah. Not speaking, but just running to her and giving her a cuddle.
Yeah.
And I woke up crying because it was real. Felt like I felt like I was physically touching her.
Yeah, that's how I felt. He was there. He was there exactly where he should have been.
Normally is, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've never had anything like that ever. I mean, I don't even remember my dreams.
I think as you get older, you tend not to so much, don't you? Because I have to. My dreams have to be really vivid for me to remember them.
I just think I'm not that imaginative. Just like I don't remember anything. As soon as I close my eyes, I'm gone. That's it.
You're gone, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, they could throw me about in the middle of the night. I don't think I'd know.
Yeah, but those are things like you can hone those skills, can't you? I mean, you should try meditation. I know you're probably going to balk at it and go meditation, but I love meditating. I don't want
anything to do with ghosts. They're on that side. I'm on this side. I'll talk to you when I get there.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a bit like Father Christmas. If you're not a believer, you just never actually.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, if like I said, if you believe in all the good stuff, then obviously you've got to believe in all the bad stuff.
Well, of course, there's probably negative stuff around, but I believe that the balance is kept firmly in check by things that we don't need to know about, and that's how I'm going to leave it. You know, whatever. I don't know. There's like ghostly policemen or something. I don't know what goes on, but you know, I just don't think we need to know about that. You know, if you're a good person, why do you need to know about that?
There's a battle between good and evil.
Bill, have you ever been to see a medium?
No.
Oh, take him.
We'll have to go.
Yeah. I want to go again, but can't you get someone to come to your place?
Yeah, I need to do another one, really.
I think I'm too sceptical.
Oh, God's sake. Well, you need
until she says something to you.
What?
Until she says something to you where you go, oh my God.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like I tend to be more on the side of sort of like seeing things like in the sky. Like Claire was saying,
like UFOs and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I always remember when I was little. I always remember me and Dad. Dad always used to go to this one-off license over the lights at East Ham.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
right? I remember the one.
It was the only one he would use, and he'd go there on a Friday after work, and he'd get a bottle of Coke, Scotch, and I could come home with loads of sweets.
Not much changes, does there?
No, right? And I remember us going into the shop, coming home. Like he spun around. We got up to where East Ham fire station was. And there was a big, massive light in the sky, but it wasn't just one light. It was lots and lots of different lights. But you could see from the outline that some bits looked square. It looked like it was all different levels. And Dad was the one that spotted it, and it was that like that clear. Dad even stopped the car.
Yeah.
And we got out and looked at it. And then we've never spoke about it ever since. But I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember
why don't you speak to him about it? You should go down and say to him, do you remember when?
And that was now. I'm just like UFOs, like mad.
Yeah, but
there are. It's like the people that say, I was taken up in a spaceship. I don't none of that. I don't know, not all that nonsense. But there's like some things they just can't explain.
And apart from that, if we can live here on Earth, then why shouldn't there be life forms on other planets?
You think to yourself, how many millions of planets there are? We are not the only ones.
Of course not.
You've got to be naive, haven't you?
No, that's right. And why shouldn't another species be far more intelligent than we are? You know.
Yeah. But it's like now. You go back to the pyramids, right? They were talking about the stone at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
At the top of the pyramids in Egypt, they're made. Some of them are made in Wales.
Are they?
Some of them date back to like quarries in Wales.
Right.
And then some of them weigh up to 200 tons.
Mm.
And they're 105 feet in the air.
Yeah. So how does it get there?
And they were saying, but the right angles that they're cut at are perfect right angles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're saying that back like in them types, so they reckon that what they say is there was a super advanced civilization during that time, and they got help from somewhere, and then there was a massive, I don't know, something happened, and it set mankind back years because after the Egyptians came the Victorian times, all that sort of stuff, when they couldn't do things like that.
No,
they couldn't get boulders across they couldn't bring a 500-ton stone across 3 countries.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get a stone that high in the air.
No.
With that weight. And they did all this sort of stuff, but it's not just that, it's the geometry of things. They're so perfect to within 100 of an inch of being
Paul
perfect.
likes that stuff because he was saying about, I don't know, I want to say the Incas or the Mayans or something like that.
The Mayans.
The Mayans, yeah. So inside their chambers, there are pictures in there of stuff, and they can't explain that, like how these things were made.
There's carvings on the walls of Mayan temples of helicopters.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, if I was to say to you, what does that look like? You would say that's a helicopter. And there's another one that looks like a jet. If I was to say to you, what does that look like? The first thing you'd think of is that's a jet.
Yeah.
And it's got someone sitting in it. Like the stone carvings.
Yeah.
And there's carvings of people like normal sized humans, and then next to them, someone who's about 14 feet tall.
Yeah.
And they're saying that in the scripture, they're passing knowledge down.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the sort of stuff that really interests me, that sort of stuff. But
I have also seen the UFO.
You have?
Yeah.
Where?
I was in Mallorca. Going back a long time, I was on holiday with Lee and his family.
Oh my God, that's a blast from the past.
But I remember it like you, Bill. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I never forget, it was so hot. We'd slept on the balcony. So we took the mattress off of the bed, pulled it out onto the balcony. Anyway, just laying there. And as clear as day, something, I know this sounds really, I know they're not all round, but this was round and it had lights going around it.
Yeah.
Not in a straight line, not on not on one wing and the other. There were lights going around this thing and it just flew above us and then it was gone. And it was I mean,
there's some people that make. I mean, they people say, "Oh yeah, they're round," but that is just that is what people see. That is, and that's just. But the people have made it. People have made it so that, like, people saying, "I've seen a flying saucer," and people say, "Yeah, it's a flying saucer," but then it hasn't got to be round. I mean, there's ones that they call them deltas, which are like triangles.
Triangle, yeah.
And there's like there's a video. I mean, of one over America, and the wingspan is like. It covers the city. It blackens the city as it goes over.
Yeah.
And then when they go to the army base and say, "Have you got anything on radar?" They're like, "No," but there's 3,000 people standing underneath it, saying, "I'm looking at it. I can see it. It's in front of me."
Yeah.
Someone knows something about it.
Of course they do. Of course they do. But the thing is, though, the way you look at it is, if they was to come out and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, for the last 70 years we've been talking to aliens," that's the stock exchange gone, religion out the window.
Yeah.
Energy, oil, gas, all these big companies, they're gone.
There'd be, can you imagine? It'd be like Armageddon, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but we'd be starting from day dot again.
Yeah.
Money would be worth nothing. Everything would just be gone. And I think that's what they're doing now. I think they're releasing it in dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
It's like now they've got this report they've just released between the Americans and the English, I think, saying that all these sightings, they can only account for like 10% of them. Like, as in, that's a drone, that's swamp gas, that's a lightning orb or a ball lightning or whatever they call it, and then the other 90%, we don't know.
I was watching a program about when they were showing, they were playing the audio and they were showing footage of airline pilots.
Yeah.
Going, what is that?
Yeah.
What is it like? And there's one of them they call it the pill because it's shaped like a
the Tic Tac.
The Tic Tac, that's it. Yeah.
Tic Tac UFO.
Yeah, that's it.
But these ain't like, but that video there, that's not like an airline pilot. That's Navy fighters.
That's what I'm saying. So these are people that, that's what.
They're credible people.
Yeah.
They put in an £80 million aircraft. To fight in wars. They're not like your swamp person sitting on the bench of an house outside with a bottle of Jack and a joint in his mouth going, "I've just seen something." These are people that protect people and fly for a living.
And even they're going, what is that?
Yeah, but for them to come out publicly and say, "I've seen something," it don't do them no favours.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't do it. But they're saying it from a safety point, they're up there and no one's telling us that they're there. There could be an accident there, so it's put lives in danger. some of the footage. I mean, when they track one and it's flying along just above the sea, and it's flying at like, and they're saying that if that was a human in that, you'd be mush. Your body would be mush because of the G force.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it goes into the ocean, just disappears, dives into the sea and's gone. And you think that can't, and they're saying that's a Chinese drone. They're saying it can't be. It's flying at like 1,000 miles an hour.
Mm.
It just can't be.
We can't. We can't be it. We can't be.
No.
There's no way.
See, ghosts here, no way. But you put an alien at the end of the bed, I'll sit up and have a chat with you. You know what I mean? But there's loads of sightings. I mean, there's a website you go to and it tells you sightings all over London. And Newham get a load of sightings.
Oh, really?
No, they do really, yeah. But not as much as like up. And there was one near Grantham where we used to live. Grantham's one of the hot spots in Europe.
It's got to be good for something. That's all I can say.
but it's but anywhere near where there's. I don't know if there's any army bases or anything in Grantham. Like,
there's loads, isn't there? There's loads of RAF bases.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But there's like that wherever there's RAF bases, there always seems to be a lot of sightings.
Yeah.
So sometimes you've got to think, you don't know whether it's the government testing something. Because if you're going to test a secret thing, you'd want to test it on the population.
That's right.
So if you wanted to test a secret drone, you'd think, right, no, we'll put it up over Grantham and see what people think of it.
I'd stay away from tap water if I was you. I just don't know. Only buy bottled water.
Yeah.
Claire, are you cold?
I don't feel very well.
Oh, don't you?
Shivery. Yeah, no, I'm all right now.
Bit shivery.
Yeah, a bit shivery. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Phil, that was quite funny. Sorry, you looked that way and it literally looked like you were looking at Claire then as she was talking.
Sorry, something flashed up on the iPad.
You literally looked at each other. She looked that way.
I was looking at haunted places, right, in Hertfordshire.
Yeah.
And there's a place called the Brocket Arms, which is in Welwyn. I don't know where Welwyn is.
Welwyn.
Yeah,
Welwyn.
I know. Yeah, and it's one of the most haunted places in the country, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, it's called the Brocket Arms in Welwyn.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
You've got absolutely zero chance of getting me to do
the boys said they were going to buy ghost hunting equipment stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to get one.
Have you seen that one where they put it up and it's like there's like dots and it shows you the shape of the body?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
They always seem to be dancing.
They're dancing, aren't they? That is so funny. I love that.
Some of them people on them TV shows are nuts. They're like, you can see they're out there. Well, it's like the people on Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
You watch them on telly. He's like, yeah, they knock on trees.
Yeah.
He goes, what do you mean they knock on trees? He goes, and then he stands there, and all of a sudden he goes, arr, arr.
I've seen that.
And the TV presenter's looking at him, thinking, what the fuck is this geezer doing? And they stand in the middle of a forest shouting things out, and like they're not getting any reply from anything. And he goes, oh, yeah, it must be a quiet night tonight. They was here last night. Oh, yeah, but the cameras weren't on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could. That whole ghost hunting thing is definitely not. I couldn't do it.
No.
But there's some people that do it really well. Like the ones I find do it really well are the amateur ones on YouTube.
Yeah, well, this is what they were watching. They were watching. Years ago they used to watch someone called Ghost Hunters. It was American. Yeah. But I don't know what happened to them. It was a long time ago.
Well, they got taken off air because they were found out to be fraud, weren't they?
Well, most of them have. Oh, look at this one. They walk around and like they've got this little machine now, and they walk around. And they go, "Can you say anything? Can you say anything?" It goes, "Bacon."
Yeah.
Oh, so you like bacon?
Yeah. It picks up radio signals, doesn't it? And transfers it into letters, and it'll be like, "What's your name?" And it'll be like golf club. Your name's golf club.
Yeah, he said he liked golf. Do you remember that fella?
Yeah.
They said he liked the game of golf.
But then they'll make something out of it. So it'll be like ambulance. He's like, oh, so you must have had an accident. And then the next word will be,
go and say something. hairdryer.
Yeah. And he dropped his hairdryer in the bath.
Yeah.
He dropped the hairdryer in the bath and electrocuted himself, and that's what happened.
Electrocuted yourself.
Yeah. It's really weird. And they got a thing called a REM pod, and they put it in the middle of a room, and they're like, if someone walks near that, the light will go off.
Yeah.
And they just sit in this room waiting for this thing to go, and all of a sudden it goes beep, and he goes, "There's someone here. There's someone here." And it gets the other thing out and goes, "Are you here? Hamster, hamster." And then it'll string loads together at once. It'll go like hamster, car, ambulance, sugar, hamster. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
It's funny.
What is he talking about? And then, but then like the presenter's going, this is a serious one, this one. This is yeah. And then all of a sudden, you hear the camera. All of a sudden, the cameraman out of shot goes, "Ah!" And he goes, "What happened?" He goes, "Someone scratched me." Leave off.
He had this this fellow. He woke up from this trance. He was in a trance, and she's poking him. She's going, "I've never known him to be in a trance this deep before." And he's like, all of a sudden he goes, "Oh," she went, "Normally we jump." He said, "I was really deeply under that time."
Yeah.
I've got a little scratch on my leg. You go, "What the fuck off?" Oh my god.
But you think that them amateur ones, because them ones that are on TV, the production, they put too much production into it. It's like, it's so
Do you remember
scripted.
the one with the woman, Yvette Fielding?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, and the fella, that Derek somebody.
Yeah,
he was
the Republican fella.
Yeah. He had his little mate Sam. "Oh, Sam's here with me."
Yeah.
Sam's here. Yeah. It sends Sam in first. "Sam, go and make sure it's all right, mate. Go and make sure it's all clear."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's
Unbelievable. Some little crackpots, they're just out there completely like tinfoil of that.
I always wonder whatever happened. Do you remember at one point, like Psychic Sally was like the woman?
Oh, she was on telly the other day.
Did she get done for being moody?
But she's back on again. She's redeemed herself because she was on. Look, they were looking for some sort of expert opinion, and it was her. So
do you remember we went to Southend to see her, didn't we? Do you remember?
I did. Yeah. And she was done after that for planting people in the audience, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she was planting. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Because she was selling out like little theatres, wasn't she? She was like
make a fortune for that.
I can't. All that sort of stuff. I'm not too keen. But I mean, they do on Halloween. They do like, I don't think it's a ghost hunt, but it's like you can go on some of like the tours of like the abandoned underground tunnels.
Yeah.
Because there's like something like they reckon if you get today's tube map, put it on the table, and then get a tube map from the 1940s or 30s and overlay it, there's like 50 or 60 stations that are still there that are not used anymore.
Yeah.
And then some of them, when you go into some of them, they're left as they are now, like the day they were abandoned.
I wonder if homeless people ever go down there. And...
well, that's what I was thinking. You could make like little camps out of them. But
do you know War of the Worlds, when they start to dig underneath because the red is coming?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Take it back to aliens. I like it.
That's what David Essex was doing.
So, but they do tours of that apparently.
What, War of the Worlds?
No, the underground.
Okay, I'm getting lost.
The underground.
Yeah, no, that's something else that I just wouldn't do it.
I could get down there, I'd do it.
Do you know what I wouldn't mind doing? The Jack the Ripper tour.
Yeah, but that's quite good.
Do you know that? So Covent Garden Station, right? There's that really old lift, isn't there? The really, really old lift, and they pull the bars across. Is that still there?
Yeah.
Is that how you still get up to the top, to the ground level? That really old lift?
Yeah, no, not for everyone now. It's like the lift's still there, but that lift is there, but they've updated it. The doors ain't like that no more, and
they're not like that anymore.
No, but the lift is still there.
Yeah, the lift is there, and Woolwich Ferry, the foot tunnel.
Yeah, still the same.
Is that still there? Still the same? Yeah. Still old the way it was, like that?
Yeah, the lifts are still the same.
That was eerie, wasn't it? Really.
The old wooden doors on the lift is.
That was eerie. Like when you think back. Sorry, Bill. Go on.
Yeah, I'm saying it's still the same. The old wooden doors, stinks, creaky.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's still got the man that stands in the lift. You know, I used to get there, just be a man in the lift.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just.
You do
Sad.
realise he's dead, don't you?
Yeah, no, yeah. So that's what I said to him. I said to him, "How's business, mate, when it's up and down?"
Oh,
Very good.
thanks. Boom, boom.
Yeah. That's what I said to him. I said to Josie when I took them swimming. She said, "The man in the lift." She said, "Dad, there weren't no one in there." Yeah, it's still there. It stinks. It's wet. You think that the ceiling's leaking. You think any minute now.
It's going to go. Yeah.
Any minute.
I can remember Dad parking up because is it Mudshoot Gardens?
No, Mudshoot's over by Canary Wharf.
Is it? So what's the one over by the Woolwich, the foot tunnel then?
What do you mean? What? Woolwich Ferry?
Well, because Dad used to park up there somewhere, and we used to go down in the tunnel, go across, come up by Greenwich.
Yeah.
So what one? Where am I? Remind me where I am.
Well, if you go under the foot tunnel from Mum's side,
Yeah.
and you end up at like where Woolwich, in Woolwich, where the waterfront, the old swimming bars used to be.
The waterfront, bloody hell.
Bloody hell. Good God.
And then that's where you come out.
Yeah. So
Right,
how long would it take you to walk up to Greenwich from there then? How long?
Hour.
Oh, right, okay, well, it's not what I remember then. I mean, I remember going down in that tunnel quite a few times, but maybe it was just because he was trying to lose us or something.
It's a long old tunnel, but the weird thing is when you get out the lift at one end, you can't see the other end.
No, it's scary.
Because it goes around in a curve.
Yeah.
It goes in a curve, so you can't see the other end.
No, it's scary. Isn't it kind of amazing? You think so? That's what Victorian, start of Victorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they managed to do that under there back then.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite an amazing feat.
What's weird about that tunnel now is to save power, the lights only come on as you're walking.
Yeah.
So if there's nobody coming from the other end,
sod that.
It's pitch black.
Let's go.
So as you're walking up the tunnel, each step you take, the lights come on.
Yeah.
So if you go at a time of day when it's not very busy, obviously you're walking into darkness because there's no light on at the other end.
No one's been murdered down there yet.
I know. That is what nightmares are made of, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Isn't it? You can't run and you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, get into either end and you can't get out.
Oh, let's write a book.
That is like watching a film and you're screaming at the TV. Don't do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Don't turn back, you silly cow. Keep walking. Keep walking.
Yeah, don't go down there. Why would you do that? There's a perfectly good ferry there.
Yeah, true. If it's ever working, I always hear on the news that it's always never working.
Well, if that's the case, I'd rather drive around.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't catch me. Absolutely not. When I was younger, you didn't give a shit, did you? Like,
I know.
So me, Dad, and Oliver went to Tower of London just after Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that is like, I can imagine, even during the day, there were some rooms we went in during the day, and you think to yourself, this feels horrible.
Weird.
I mean,
this room feels horrible.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like some really dark things went on there.
Like you could feel death. It was just like, and then the fella saying, so and so was killed in here, or this is the exact spot they took Anne Boleyn's head off.
Do you know what the rooms that got me was where they put the two princes, where the two princes were found dead in the Tower of London. Did you go to the room where the two princes died?
No.
Well, that was a really eerie room. I was always fascinated with the story of the two princes.
We went to the torture room where they've got like the rack.
Yeah.
That was a rack they actually used.
Yeah.
In the Tower of London. It was like they just put you on it to stretch you.
Yeah.
And like the fellow was saying there'd been untold amount of deaths in this room.
Yeah.
You just think, no, nice and cheery.
Nice day out.
It's what you go to the Tower of London for.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine like being in there over night time. Like say you done one of them tours and they're like, right, we're off now, we're going to turn the lights off, have a good night.
Oh, could you imagine how much money they'd make if they did ghost tours of a night around the Tower of London?
You've got to be some sort of person to do that though.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, no.
No
I'm
way.
not that person.
If you could strap one of them GoPros to me in the night, you would make comedy gold because I wouldn't even talk English. I think it'd just be like, I don't even know what I would say. I couldn't tell what, even thinking about it now scares me.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine like being locked in a dark place,
No.
Yeah.
a torture dungeon of all places,
No.
and they go, right, yeah, we'll see you in the morning. Because they do that in some places that they like. It's like they do it in Alcatraz. You do
Yeah.
overstate nights, and they're like, well, we'll be back in the morning to get you. Like, what?
Tom said they got really scared when they went to one of those escape room things the other week.
Oh my God.
He said they were trying to get out this door and it wouldn't unlock, and they were like shaking at the door. And this fella's going, "You won't get out over the tunnel. You won't get out like that. You're going to have to find the key." They're like, "Oh, let me out! Let me out!"
It turns into that movie Saw.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Have you talking of scary movies? I've only said, have you ever seen a movie called The Hostel?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I know.
that is shocking. Because that ain't like that. That's not like. Yeah, no, but that's this film, right? It's like people go to Prague, and I've been to Prague a few times. Played in Prague. It's a really nice place to go, but there's hostels everywhere, and these American students, they go there, stay in this hostel, and then what happens is there's loads of rich people there, and they're kidnapping travellers, taking them to this place and making snuff movies.
Oh God!
They're paying for people to be kidnapped, and they're taking them to a room so they can beat them to death, cut them up, or whatever they want to do. And it's called.
I can remember when all that came about snuff movies, because people were saying it was a real thing, weren't they? And it was actually really happening. And this was years ago, decades ago, probably. I was only a teenager when all this started coming about. I wonder if it ever was a real thing.
I think it is. I think it still is.
Do you reckon?
I mean, you think that people do some sick things. I mean, there's
Sick things, yeah.
But the thing that scared me most about that movie is that could actually happen.
Yeah.
Not like Jason and Freddy, where there's a man that never dies and he's been in 74 movies and now he's 206 years old and he's been stabbed 500 times. It's not going to happen. But someone sick enough,
yeah,
that could happen to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then what worries me even more is I think, who wrote that? Who sat indoors and thought, do you know what, I'm going to write a new movie. I'm going to write a movie.
See, now, I think exactly that about the Saw films.
Yeah, that as well.
To play two people off like that.
Yeah. Psychologically, they're messed up in the head.
You know, or to, you know, you either, I can't, they make me
I've
uncomfortable.
never seen the Saw films.
You are?
I've never seen the Saw films.
I've seen one. I can't watch anymore.
They are.
Are they just like cutting people up type things?
No. It's basically about putting people in a predicament.
Yeah.
Not very nice people. People that have committed sins and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're almost in an impossible situation. It's almost like they have to play a game. Would you call it a game, Bill? What would you call it? Like,
he says, "Come on, let's play a game."
Let's play a game, and inevitably, obviously, they die in the most awful way. But they feel like they've got a chance of surviving it.
But they haven't.
But they actually haven't. It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick.
Have you seen what about a film called The Human Centipede? Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I didn't really want to be honest with you.
Half hour into that, and I was like, no, that's enough. None of that.
No.
I mean, how vile. Who would think that? Oh, let's just stick his ass to her mouth. You know what I mean? And just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we'll say it's like what's that one? We'll do a bit like the locomotion.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going a bit more.
But the question is, though, would you rather be at the front or the back?
Does it matter? Do you know what I mean?
If you're at the front, you're not stitched to anything.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
But you would
linings and all that.
That you would be stitched to something.
But you're only being fed like dog food and stuff like that, so you could probably handle that. But then being at the other end,
I think I'd rather just die as soon as possible.
Yeah,
let me eat someone's. I just want to die. I just want out of this.
And especially when he shouts out, "Feed her!"
That is vile.
And then but what gets you worse is someone else actually thought it was a good idea to make number 2.
Yeah.
Someone thought it was a brilliant idea. He got banned here anyway. It's banned over here now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Vile film. Where does it come from? That film?
It's German.
German.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Claire's face.
That's everything you need to know.
Well, what can you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not very classy at all.
No, not at all, is it?
I was
So,
watching, talking about people doing weird things, and I was watching Kids Who Kill last night.
Yeah.
And there was a 16-year-old boy, all in the UK. It was in Wales, actually. A 16-year-old boy was absolutely obsessed with vampirism.
Right.
Like, it was an obsession, and being immortal and things like that. And he basically killed a 90-year-old woman and just drained her and drunk her blood.
Oh, God's sake.
Oh. Do you know what they should have done to him, right? I said, if you want to be immortal, we put it to a test, we'd throw you off a building.
Yeah.
And then if you get up, crack on.
Yeah.
Like, some people have these, they really believe.
There's no, you know, at the end of the day, if you do something like that, you deserve the severest of punishments. But you've got to be mentally ill, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to be.
It's like these people that get lumps put in their skin because they want to be lizards, or they have their people that have their noses done to look like cats.
Oh, full tongues.
Yeah, like split tongues, like serpent tongue and all that. You're like,
why
would you do that?
Yeah, no.
It must be crackers.
Yeah, there are some people do. They really believe.
Yeah, they do.
Really, really believe it.
Right, peeps. Should we?
We finished now.
Sorry, I can't. I'm going to flake out in a second. I can feel the heat rising off me. And I'm trying really hard.
Right, same time next week, yeah?
Yes, guys.
And I'll feel better. So we're going to pick something. Let's pick something now before we go. So we've got a week to research and get some good topics going on. What should we choose? Bill, you go, because I chose one. Em chose this one. You go.
No, Bill chose paranormal.
Oh, did he? Go on then, Em. It's your turn.
Yeah. Oh my God, the pressure.
Yeah, go on.
I can't think of anything.
Yes, you can.
I can't think of anything right now.
You can't think of anything?
No.
Autism. Let's talk about autism. Okay.
Yeah.
Right then.
All right.
Cool. All right then. Okay. See you later.
Bye.